Today, representatives of the Black Lives Matter movement have released a set of policy demands called Campaign Zero that lists specifics for what they want to accomplish to reform police and policing across the United States. There's a website, obviously, for Campaign Zero. We're going to look at a couple of the different images that have been posted from it. This is the first, laying out a simplistic form of each one of the specific things that they're looking for. And as we go across the list, and broken windows policing, which we know has an obvious racial component, demilitarization, end of for-profit policing. Even the police have admitted number 7, their training needs to be reformed. Pretty much everyone believes that number 6 is necessary, but not enough. We get those body cams on the police. I mean, all of those seem 100% reasonable. And during our production meeting, JR pointed out, I don't see killing people. I don't see blood on there. That's weird. We keep hearing that that's what they want from the right. But no, it looks like they have a very reasonable set of specific, actionable policies that they want to see that would not only improve, obviously, the position for African Americans, but I think every American would benefit under this new reform system.
So I was led to believe that the broken window theory of policing was a success. Is it not a success?
Yeah, it's a success for people who wanted to make sure that they got rid of, the undesirables from places where they were, right?
Okay.
And so to be fair, also crime has gone down dramatically, not just in New York City, but in a lot where this whole broken windows policing started, but in a lot of cities. And it turns out cities that did broken windows policing had crime rates go down at similar rates to the cities who didn't.
Oh, really?
And, yeah.
The whole country had a reduction
in crime. If we had a reduction in crime, it doesn't mean, oh, we nailed everything, let's not stop making progress. I mean, you don't have to throw every single bit of policing out the... No reasonable person would suggest that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So the reason they're against broken windows policing is not because they want broken windows. It's because what they've done is it's led to things like stop and frisk, where 94% of the people who are stopped and frisked are black and Latino in New York City. So, gee, I wonder who they're stopping. So it's not a matter of trying to figure out who the criminals are. If they want to do that, they can go to Wall Street and get a whole batch of them, right? But they're not trying to figure out broken windows on Wall Street, right? They broke the whole economy, and that apparently was not a window large enough to investigate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there are a number of policies that seem 100% reasonable. But then you realize, after testing it across the country for a couple of decades, that if you give the police this power, they can't help but be discriminatory in how they actually apply it. And if that's the case, then whether it sounded reasonable in the beginning or not, it might need to be rolled back some. This is, again, from the Campaign Zero website, where they show which of they've chosen based on polling, which candidates, although they threw Rand Paul in there, even though he's not in the top 10. I think because he's the only Republican listed there that has proposed even one fix to one of their 10 demands. You see there that obviously...
Maybe that's why he's not in the top 10 among Republicans.
Perhaps not. Bernie Sanders has addressed many of those, but not all.
My font size on my computer only goes down to 6. Yours, I guess, goes down to 2.
Yeah, look, if you want to see the specifics on what they're proposing, you can go to the Campaign Zero website. I just think it's interesting to look, sort of a top-down look at Hillary Clinton looks a little bit more like the Republicans in that respect. And so maybe it makes sense that Black Lives Matter has recently been targeting her.
So one of the things they said here in leadership of this movement, they said folks are almost not even able to imagine an America where people are not being killed by police. So I think that's powerful. I think we just got used to it. We're the frog in the boiling water. And so when in Europe you say, hey, Americans who are unarmed keep getting shot and killed by police, they almost can't believe it. They think that that must not be true. You mean something else, right? No, we mean we're not armed. Cops come in, boom, 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 shoot us and kill us. Right?
But it's true. We're brainwashed to think it, because even I would think it for years and years. Well, you instinctively you think, okay, well, he must have done something. He did something. He must have done something.
Yeah, why would a guy shoot another guy without a gun unless the guy was doing something? I don't know. Maybe because that guy's a fucking maniac, and that's why he was drawn to that profession. And when those guys show up, we give him a gun.
And the roids, which we talked about on the show yesterday.
And they tell you, go tell him to go drink some caffeinated beverage, give him some steroids and a gun, go take care of stuff.
So and there's a huge issue of cops on steroids that now people are looking at and going, oh, That's a big, big problem. But the unions, the police unions, are like, no way, under no circumstances are you allowed to investigate.
Yeah, they're
that,
super
right?
aggressive against it.
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's funny. But all that notwithstanding, I think the main thing that they got right here, and what I would move to our number one priority and could fix all those issues, is the training. Because if you do the training right and you say, hey, and this is perfectly crystallized, funny enough, in my conversation with Joe Crystal, who's a former Baltimore cop. He's still a cop. He's down in Florida, right? And I just had this. You can check it out on TYT interviews. He said, and he hadn't even thought of it this way. It just came out in our conversation. He said when he was in Baltimore, it was us versus them, okay? And we were the occupying force. Michael Wood, another former Baltimore cop, said the same thing, occupying force. And we go in there, and we have quotas. We got to make our quotas. We got to make our numbers, right? So we just go arrest, arrest, arrest. And they tell us, in the training, they tell us, don't worry about if they're going to be found guilty or not, okay? Let the prosecutors deal with that. You just make your quota. So you just go around, and Michael A. Wood, the other former Baltimore cop who I interviewed also on TYT interviews, he said, even if you're in white areas, you don't stay in white areas to make the arrest. You go to black areas to make the arrest, right? And so, because you don't want to arrest the judge's son, right? So you don't want to get in trouble. So you just, but you're never going to get in trouble for arresting black people in Baltimore. So you just round them up, right? And so if you're training him this way, and then finally Joe Crystal says, now that he's down in Florida in a largely white area, now he didn't talk about race, but it is, he's in a largely white area. They say, how do you treat the community? The cops are trained to do customer service for the community. And I said, wait, were you guys talking about customer service for the community in Baltimore? I said, no, we weren't, right? So it's all in the training. If you do the training right, part of the training would be like, hey, if you're caught on steroids, there is going to be heavy, heavy penalties, right? If you go in and shoot someone in 2 seconds like they did in Cleveland with Tamir Rice, there's going to be a heavy, heavy penalty, and it's going to be called prison, by the way. We're not going to circle the wagons, and we're not going to say, you're right, you're right, you're right, just go and shoot them. 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Don't let them put their hands up. Don't investigate. Don't figure out what's going on. Don't figure out if it's a toy gun or no gun. Just shoot, right? We reward and we incentivize through the training and all these other things the physical violence that we have. And then we're surprised that we have violence. No, we taught the cops to be violent. So maybe we should think about teaching them not to be violent. Now, by the way, we're not talking liberal hippie stuff like, oh my God, they should hand out flowers instead. It's not like the Norwegian cops or the Swedish cops hand out flowers and they don't ride in on unicorns. They have lower crime than we do. They have lower crime than we do. It's because they're doing things right. They're doing the right policing, and they arrest people when they need to. And yes, on occasion, very rarely, they'll shoot someone. You know why? Because they had to shoot them because the guy was shooting at them. Okay, not because he didn't listen to orders, not because you had to go make quota, not because of any of those things. There is a right way to do it. A lot of the world does it right. We don't do it right. So why don't we learn? So this is not a radical position by Black Lives Matter. This is the most logical, rational, mainstream position you can have.
Yeah, and by the way, I think it'll go a long way towards dissuading any people in the mainstream media who think that they're being reasonable by saying, well, Black Lives Matter, they have a point, but it's starting to seem a little bit like Occupy Wall Street. It's like there's not one leader, and they don't have any specifics that they actually want. No, they do have specifics. All of them seem reasonable. All of them are doable. And in many cases, as we said, even the cops already believe that you should be doing it. And some of the candidates, including O'Malley, to his credit, have already proposed many of these policies. And so I think that this is a great move on their part.
I think it's a great move, too, and I can't believe that. I mean, this should be a thing. Like, this isn't just interesting to black people. I think the majority of Americans would be on board with this. But again, it's not about what the majority of Americans want. It's what the majority of donors want. And if the majority of donors want that, that will happen. And it won't happen until the majority of donors are okay with that.